Namaste and welcome to our next yet another session in our Kala Evam Adhyatma series. So today we'll be taking up the topic of art and yoga, inspired by Mother's teaching that both the discipline of art and discipline of yoga begin from the same source. And what is the connection between the two? To explore that, we have two wonderful guests, Raie and Monica, who are joining us from NCR, and they are co-founders of an organization called Yoga Art. So we'll be hearing from them how they bring their the two disciplines of art and yoga together. So it's my pleasure to welcome everyone on behalf of Renaissance Journal at Sri Aurobindo Society, as well as the Sri Aurobindo Integral Life Center, Oro University. So before we begin, let me quickly give brief introduction to both our guests, so people will know the background that they bring to their work. So Monica Chand is certified in Hatha Yoga, and she's also done yoga therapy from Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram. She has also attended several workshops and courses in integral yoga from Sri Aurobindo Ashram Delhi branch. And she's been teaching Hatha Yoga both nationally and at international level for more than 2 decades now. And for the last few years, she's also been exploring art as a yogic discipline with a special emphasis on indigenous art forms of India. And together with Raie, I'm just going to say her short name, Raie. They have she's the co-founder of Yoga Art. About Raie, now she also brings a very interesting and relevant background to this work. She's Lithuanian by birth and has been living in India since 2004. Her soul is Indian, as we say. So she's been exposed to art since the age of 10 and has more than 30 years of experience creating a variety of art forms, including traditional Indian arts. She has her degree from London Metropolitan University and has been teaching art to children, in addition to running an interior design academy for the past 11 years in India. She's certainly deeply inspired by the teachings of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, and along with Raie has been attending workshops and courses at the Sri Aurobindo Ashram Delhi branch. So over to you, Monica and Raie. Tell us about how you bring yoga and art, both these disciplines, together in the work that you do, the workshops that you offer to the children, to adults, through various programs that you offer. And I should also mention that even though it's a small group, but you would like us to engage in some sort of experiential work to experience that. So I'm happy to see Dr. Ravi Bhushan also joining us. He's been a regular with us, and Kashmira ji and Biswajita. So if you want us to have a paper and pen.
Again,
handy,
right? paper and any kind of pen or pencil.
Yes, pen or pencil.
Anything will do.
Okay, great. So over to you, Raie, Monica, however you want to take us to this journey. Thank you.
Thank you for the introductions, and lovely to be with all of you and share what we most love and adore. So just to give you a brief, for us, the flowering of this concept has come with actually our own experience, both of us. It was a very instant experience for both of us, and it happened at the same moment for both of us, and that's why we actually thought we were inspired, and it happened on a very auspicious day. It was Mother's birthday, and so we thought we must actually bring it out, and since then we've been very fortunate to have shared it with a large number of people, children, adults, and it's been a journey, and it's still a journey which is continuing. And what I'll do is to make my presentation and our presentation more effective. I'll just share the presentation and we'll actually follow that. And we'll, so I'm just sharing.
So in the meantime, while Monica is looking for sharing, we can also pick up the paper. After that, we'll do little bit of, again, yoga, and then we'll enter into our small experiential part also.
But this is also a quote which is our motto, you can say. So let beauty be your constant ideal. And so during the presentation, we'll actually explore words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo about yoga and art, and how Raie and I are trying to actually give it a very practical form and shape and bring it to everyone. So it is not just, so there is an experience that they also have. We're basically trying to make the words living. So our aim is to actually bring practice of yoga and art into the mainstream, not just as something you do when you're bored, but as something which is integral to your life from a very young age. As Sri Aurobindo says that, now is the time when yoga is ready to be actually taken into humanity. It was earlier very exclusive, but now it's something which can be brought in to everyone. And of course, they are our guiding light, and their teachings and the practices and what we have learned, how we have evolved, how we have grown through their teachings. So integral yoga and integral education form the backbone for for yoga and art. So this is just a little about yoga art and how we brought it together. And these are the various elements that we bring into the, which we also call spiritual education, because in a way, that's what we are trying to do. So these are all the elements that we are trying to use in our workshops, in our classes, in our programs, whatever we do. And then these are some of the benefits and outcomes that we have actually observed in the last 1.5 years of working actively with people. Just mentioning some of them, as I mentioned: increase in inner awareness, increase in intuition, increase in creativity, overall fitness, multiple skill building, increase in spiritual knowledge, critical thinking. So these are some of the things which we have experienced, that when we put people through these workshops and classes, these are some of the things that people have actually come back to us with.
Yeah, and the reason for that, Monica, if you go back, that we actually aim to bring this. We don't look at it as only as something which is removed from life and only artistic people does, and or somebody who who are not good at anything else. We want to be yoga as same as far as all the other subjects in India and the world, hopefully, and we want to be as part of other courses. So we want to bring it to the mainstream, basically. Yoga, not necessary that a lot of asanas, but sometimes it works only quieting the mind, and some other yogic techniques that we use. So that part is our big aim, which we want. We want that to people to recognize the benefits and use this and reach to the mainstream.
So this is something, these are actually words of the mother only about yoga and art. And a lot of it, in fact, comes from her only. So she says, skill is not art, talent is not art. Art is a living harmony and beauty that must be expressed in all the movements of existence. Now, one wonders that why is it that a lot of art, there is a lot of art in the world, but why is the art also not so inspiring and not so beautiful, or not so, because of this element that is missing of bringing in something which is not in existence into existence. So, which is again mother's words and Sri Aurobindo's words: there is a domain far above the mind which we could call the world of harmony. And if you can reach there, you will find the root of all harmony that has been manifested in whatever form upon earth. If by yoga you are capable of reaching this source of all art, then you are master, if you will, of all the arts. So this becomes our inspiration, that unless and until you are actually rooted in the spirit, or you try to go beyond what is already visible and mundane, you are not really bringing in the true element of art, true inspiration, true creativity. So we use yoga as a gateway, in a way, to enter into the deeper and the higher realms, and then create art from there. So then in a way it becomes yogic art, or you can call it anything you like. But that's the idea of it having yoga and art together. And this is also something which Mother has said, that art can be a yoga and yoga is an art. So we find that this clearly we caught an inspiration which is, been there. So now, and this is all the work on the right, right? Would you like to explain the work that is on the right, which is through some of our workshops?
Yeah, so our ladies who has now in their 40s and 50s, and this is from Koshali, from Madhuban, Sri Aurobindo Ashram Madhuban, and some of them said, most of them in fact said that they have not touched pencils since the age of 5. And they were very reluctant to in fact start, and they said we can't draw. And I just wanted to sensitize them to color harmony, and how to bring it, how to not just do random or not just something what you feel like, and why you and sensitize also why you feel it. So basically it was a color exercise, but we just picked up, and after a little bit of yogic tools, we have reached kind of quiet place from where they drawn, and we all decided to do, because there they do a lot of stitching and a lot of knitting. So we all did the stitching of the bed cover. They all wanted to do bed cover, and they were amazed, all of them amazed. There is a lot of work that came out which they never believed that they could do. And one lady said, I normally don't encourage use any rulers, but one lady who was into cooking, and she says, I am not into stitching and my hand does not do straight lines. If you see the at the corner right on the top next to that red, yellow, and green Lithuanian flag, there is a lot of straight lines. So what she did, she picked up the ruler and she just started making a lot of lines. There were some observers who looked at it very strange because it didn't make sense, but she was just into it, into the zone, as they say, and she was just going on and on. And it came out very unusual stuff. And she said that she will use that as for her label, for her jars, for the jams and all the lovely stuff that she makes. She was amazed. In fact, she said she asked how to use it. So, and we had some nice students from Oro University, Surat, and they also liked it, and they said that they will use it. And especially the top one, that those which are on the other side also. Yeah, Monica, you're showing on the right. Yeah, that one also, everyone liked it very much, and they wanted. And this is ladies who normally use a lot of bright colors. All in Pahars and in the mountains, we tend to see a lot of bright colors. You know, they like to use a lot of bright colors. But here, it start to come out a lot of sensitivity suddenly came in, and they were very surprised, and all of them said that, you know, I enjoyed so much, and I never knew that at the age of 5 I did not like my drawings, but now surprisingly they did, you know, that some delight has come and they really enjoyed. In fact, they wanted to take it all to show their children.
So here we are trying to actually explore the element that there is an artist in everyone, and mostly that artist gets hidden because of the fact that either you are taking up art as a profession or a career, then you explore art, or you are expecting some perfection when you are making some art. So if you don't find these two elements, a person generally shuts down that door of theirs, which is the door to an artist. And unless they are in an artistic family or an artistic environment, most people actually then start living a life which is where they believe that they are not artists. So we are also trying to break that barrier to believe that each one does have an artist. We can explore, and we do not have to expect it to be the expected perfection, which is there already set standards which are there in art. Next. So again, here also these are words of the Mother and Sri Aurobindo. The purification of the heart is the appointed road by which man arrives at his higher fulfillment. And if it can be shown that art is a powerful agent towards that end, its supreme importance is established. Art stills the emotions and teaches them the delight of a restrained and limited satisfaction. Art is a perfect education for the soul. It makes and keeps its movements purified, self-controlled, deep, and harmonious. And here again, we are correlating it. So the discipline of yoga requires the purification of the senses, the mind, emotions, body, and to develop the 4 qualities to their maximum: knowledge, will, harmony, and skill, so that one is an apt instrument for the divine action upon earth. So this is again to show how yoga and art too, both have got the same, how they are hand in glove, and how they both can complement each other, because to be developing in perfection, you have to develop all the qualities of yourself. And even for art, to be an artist and to be an artist, you have to delve deep, you have to delve higher, you have to delve deeper, you have to go wider, all the elements that we require in yoga as well. Raie, the work
and
on
here
the
again, if you see, this is the same woman who have not, another group, evil and elder woman who have not touched, and they were very reluctant. That day we had a neutral color theme, and they were all very sad to see that I removed all the colors. And they said, what can we do with, you know, this brown paper? It's actually packaging paper, and this brown, blacks and white, like nothing can be done. But of course, I set up from the leaves in the middle some area. I arranged the pencils. So there's another thing which is kind of a gateway also we use for the beauties, whatever we have, whether it's leaves or it's just pencils and paper. We try to arrange, you know, some centering in the middle of where we work. It may not be right in a center, not always possible, but some area which gives us centering. So here they also had, and I asked them when they refused to start, actually, I asked them that, what about this little setup in the middle? It was just dry leaves and some branches. And actually there was not a very organized setup, but I just a little arranged it to look nicer. So they said it's nice, but we can't draw like that. I said, okay, then, but we can start only, you know, whatever it is there. And they again were very surprised. And in fact, after, you know, finishing, they wanted again to repeat again on the same in the same color theme, in the neutrals, and it came out again very nice. And so some of the classes, it just took off, totally unexpected, you know, beauty they found in this mundane, you know, and they related to the winter when all the colors goes out, and they suddenly realized that, you know, also these colors exist, and with so little colors they can create such a beauty, and they liked it more than others, in fact.
Okay, moving on to next.
Okay.
Again, the same, which is again bringing in the commonality between yoga and art. So the discipline of art has as its center the same principle as the discipline of yoga. These are Mother's words again. In both, the aim is to become more and more conscious. In both, you have to learn to see and feel something that is beyond the ordinary vision and feeling, to go within and bring out from there deeper things. Painters have to follow a discipline for the growth of the consciousness of their eyes, which in itself is almost a yoga. If they are true artists and try to see beyond and use their art for the expression of the inner world, they grow in consciousness by the concentration, which is not other than the consciousness given by yoga. Why then should not yogic consciousness be a help to artistic creation? So,
and again here, yeah, and again here in the middle, you see some arrangement from the Vaya art class.
So these are just tweezers. I mean, these are just tweezers that we use in to mold the wires in doing art. And when you don't have anything else to create, then you just create with whatever we can. The idea is to bring that aesthetic element of beauty and centering into you know, yourself.
And connect to the tools also, because to keep them in a, you know, respectful position, you know, not to push them. Normally this happens with the children more, but to give more respect, so they are part of that beautiful, something beautiful, and then they give more respect. We try to center them, not to throw them, because we want them to be more careful, and those cutters to sensitize them, not to, you know, they are not just tools, you know, they, you know, if we use them correctly, it's magic can come from them. So to sensitize that also.
Next. Again, words of the Mother and Sri Aurobindo, and on the right, we have little kids who have done the same thing, which is on brown paper. They have used minimalist, just simple colors to create. And
And they adoring it the most also, more than their colorful drawings.
So the idea is actually to understand that anything can be used as art, anything can be art, anything can be made beautiful. And you can start on this journey and an exploration, and you can delve deeper and deeper into, anybody can go into deeper into art, and anybody can go deeper into yoga as well, as long as you start and you lose the hesitation. And
Yes, so there is
rigid beliefs.
There is very important point. Actually, anybody and everybody is creative. It's just what we do. We make ability to. We remove the fear at all from them. We make them comfortable with yoga and breathing. Little playful exercise we do. We do little with these little children. We do a lot of animal sounds and animal kind of poses, and they become very playful. And then that fear removed, because especially with children who are little less exposed to art or have less colors, they are very fearful. So everyone is very fearful. Actually, we grow out from that creativity. So removing that fear, making them very comfortable, and without fear you are playful. As soon as there is a fear and judgment is there, we can't play. And if we can't play, we are not open to make mistakes, and we're not open to what comes out, from that. So we remove that fear of being wrong and allow them to play and be open to whatever happens. And normally it's in our experience is always delight. It's a surprise that everyone enjoys later. They really like their work.
So we have again just some Raie, you want to explain the stones and the...
Yes, so those are also just a spontaneous. Again, this is before the class got arranged. There was some delay, but children saw pencils, and then it was actually not pencils, it was acrylic pens, and we had nowhere to paint, but there were a lot of stones there from the river in Ramgarh. So we just it just spontaneously happened that children, and while they were waiting, they start drawing, and some wonderful things came out. And one of the gardener's son, actually, that yellow, that is a shivling, and his name is Shiva, I think, Shiva something. So he said, I'm drawing myself. And he was so proud. And his father, before sending him to me, he said, no, he can't draw, he can't do. But so he was not confident at all to send him. I said, no, it's okay. And he said, so he will only watch. And the child was prepared to only watch. But somehow it happened that he was the first to pick up all and start this, and then everyone else followed. So I think of course, Ramgarh is a very special place, but as soon as we as a facilitators coming with a open, a lot of space for mistakes, for no judgment, basically, as a lot of love for them, magic happens, and a lot of creativity happens anyway. So as long as it's not we are not damaging anyone's wall, I think our job is just to encourage and be open, whatever happens, because every time there's something is going also in the children, they have their own ideas.
Moving on. So this is again words of the mother only, that the activity of human thought divides itself broadly into two groups of functions. Right hand, contemplation, creation, imagination, the centers that see the truth. Left hand, which is criticism, reasoning, discrimination, inquiry, the centers that judge the truth when it is seen. In education, generally it's the latter are fostered by scientific and manual training. But the only quality of the right hand that this education fosters is observation. So for this reason, a purely scientific education tends to make thought keen and clear-sighted within certain limits, but narrow, hard, and cold. It is precisely the cultivation of the spirit that is the object of arts. So that is again another reason why we are exploring this, because we find that education today is lacking in certain elements. So we want to bring this in. And again, this is mother's words, but when you are in yoga, there is a profound change in the value of things, of art as of everything else. You begin to look at art from a very different standpoint. So one of the things we aim to do is bring in that whole element of what the aesthetic aesthetic training or the aesthetic ability or the aesthetic skill which should be developed in every individual, because that is also a psychic quality which they have laid a lot of emphasis on. And that, I think, can only be developed when you are steeped in some form of yogic practice or art, or you look at art in a deeper perspective and not just as utilitarian or as something which has a result. So for us, actually, we are hoping that we are not so centered on result, but on the process. That it's the process of doing it. Even if you don't create something beautiful every time, the fact that you have gone through the process, the fact that you have gone through that sensitization will develop the aesthetic ability in you over a period of time.
Yeah, and we never look for results. Like, of course, we have a course and we have some sort of expectation that we will learn to use some tools or something, but we are not so focused as in making an exhibition at the end or making a really big portfolio or judgment, this is better or that. So that is not part of course it happens and people are very surprised and we are also surprised all the time, but that is not our aim. And that aesthetic sensitivity being priority, beauty as a constant ideal, and beauty in all the actions and the thoughts, like Mother's quote said, that is our driving undercurrent, which actually everything stands on, which is the main thing. And I just want to share here, after reading this Mother's this quote, it suddenly struck me why I did not enjoy everything in UK while I studied in UK, because there was some art which is very ugly, and because it's so different, because it's so shocking, it is we were expected to do project on those, and I was very against it. It was very, in fact, it was so ugly and so gross that I was asking them, if I don't do, will I fail? I was ready to fail. And there was other students also, but we were mostly foreigners, from different Greece and some other countries. And what I understood, that there is some kind of chauvinism, there's something to show off or to shock and be beautiful. Like I'm nothing against hanging carrot in call it art, but there is also a lot of other aspects. I think that spiritual aspect, when it's removed, then it goes out of hand. And I really, after reading this quote, I realized that that's the reason why I want to teach art more and more, because I felt that that is the base for the beauty to come out. We are here to bring out the beauty from the mundane, not to show. And if we want to say something, say it in a nicer way. If we want to raise any awareness about certain issues.
Okay, next. Again, so concrete steps towards evolving as a true artist, Mother's artist, understanding true and highest art. It must be the expression of a divine world brought down into the material world, like an intermediary between a higher world and this physical existence. In the physical world of all things, it is beauty that expresses the divine. The physical world is the world of form, and the perfection of form is beauty. Beauty interprets, expresses, manifests the eternal. Its role is to put all manifested nature in contact with the eternal through the perfection of form, through harmony and a sense of the ideal which uplifts and leads us towards something higher. True art means the expression of beauty in the material world. So even when we say yoga, we are also actually working a lot on the body. Because we are on an online mode, we really won't be able to do too much. But whenever we do, we always bring the body into the element, because when you are aware of the body, you use the body also very consciously. Your hands, your breath, your body, and so that it becomes again a conscious instrument in bringing in that element of creativity. And so to put it broadly, we work on both the element of the technique. So there is some amount of technique that goes into what we are doing, and also the consciousness. So both of these we try and build together, and to be able to bring this whole cultivation of yoga and art as a part of an everyday life. Next. So this is Sri Aurobindo's symbol, which So for technique is a means of expression. One does not write merely to use beautiful words or paint for the sole sake of the line and color. There is something that one is trying through these means to express or to discover. Art is not only technique or form of beauty, not only the discovery or the expression of beauty. It is a self-expression of consciousness under the conditions of aesthetic vision and a perfect execution. Sri Aurobindo's words, of course. And so perfect example, this is Sri Aurobindo's symbol that Raie has made, and a few students.
So this actually has been started by those Oro students in Ramgarh again.
Using aluminium wire. And
yeah,
wire.
it was not coming out perfectly, but it's just little touch up and it came out what they were looking for eventually. It's little bit, water is not as per their liking, but naturally eventually it came out altogether. So little guidance is needed, but if there is a wish, there is a way to find how to do it. So they really wanted to do this.
And the other thing we find that we use very often is we try and use as many materials as possible. We try and use anything and everything as part of a yogic discipline, just like all life is yoga to use. And in that, we have got, we use colors, we use colored paper, we did neurographics last time, we use metal art, we use lippen art, we use flower art. So these are some of the things that we have created through the workshops using wire. And this also,
this is for this, we have it for Independence and the Republic Day. We celebrate India by making Indian symbols. So Raie for Rishi, then Asana.
This is the lippen art, which is the famous art of Gujarat, which is essentially using putti and or mud and mirror work. So the moment you expose not only children, but adults and everybody to different materials, it requires a totally different skill set when you're using different materials in art. And that gives them that wide exposure to different materials.
Monica, so, you can keep that way. This is another thing which is a little different. We through wire art we also teach qualities. You can go on one page next to it. Okay. There is so mother has given ideal qualities for the child, the 12 ideal qualities. So those we are doing it in wire with children, even with adults. First we experience that quality in asana, then we in breathing also, and then we move on and make it we hear the story. Everything is every lesson we have, it's based on some adventure, and then from there she meets certain animals, and then those animals we keep on making in wire. So it's connection on all the levels, you connect to the story, you connect to the body, to the same qualities, and those qualities which is, if you write, it's very difficult to remember, but once you experience in the body and through your hands, it connects to your heart, it goes deep in your hand. They start there is a seed that planted very deeply, and children in fact take it further. Our children taking further, and I think there is another one wind chime with the qualities when children liked it and made it. There's a blue wind chime. There is one more slide, Monica.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, some more. Just see. Yeah, maybe one more. So they take it even further, because whichever qualities they like, this wind charm is also it's kind of its creation on their own. It's just for different mother's qualities, the generosity piece, the different elements being created. For generosity is a heart, for poise it's a yogic pose, and for truthfulness is the diya. So children start inventing their own, and it's a quite simple way to make it, but I was not thinking of teaching it, but children later on take it even further and they invent. And for the patients, there is a snail also. So snail is now something else, and it's a different snail hanging there. So and we see another wind chime with mother's quote there with the snails, again snail family. That's a very popular thing to do.
And we also realize that different art forms require different skills. So for example, someone would be very good at maybe they think they're very good at art in terms of pencils, colors, paintings. And the moment they pick up metal art, suddenly they find they're in a totally new territory, and it requires a different skill set. It requires a different way of thinking. It requires a more 3D way of thinking. So there they are challenged. Actually, their artistic, their artistic capabilities are also challenged, and they learn something new. So
that's why we call foundation. Our course we call foundation in art and design through yoga, because we explore different forms of art, and it's not, there is a one slide, blue slide, which also has those different forms of art. And then it's not only those, anything else that we feel, yeah, this one, not anything else that we feel that children are called to, we explore. So that's why there is so many, because each of them different, for some people different areas works. Somebody could be gifted in different areas, and you will never know until you try.
So I think, Raie, what do you think? We can do a little bit of practice. We have about
so give a short yogic practice. Now I think everyone is a little calm by okay, yeah.
Okay.
Now you can stop sharing maybe, and you will be on a main screen then.
Okay. So since we are online and on screen, we will not be able to do much movement, but we'll try and do whatever we can seated. So I'll just start with Sahana Vavatu. Oh. Sahana Vavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sah Viryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishravahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, let's just sit in a comfortable position. We're already, I'm assuming, mostly sitting on the chair, so our spine is straight. We don't have to stress it, but just keeping it naturally straight. Let's start with doing conscious breathing, and we'll do a little bit of deep breathing, which means if you can normally take inhale, which is this much, we'll take it a little longer and little fuller. So we'll start with a good inhale. Inhale deeply. Let's hold the breath for 1, 2, and let's take a long exhale. Again, nice long inhale. A fulfilling inhale. Take a breath which fills you up, which actually gives you joy, gives you pleasure. Hold for a few seconds and then let it go. So let's form this relationship of pleasure and joy with the breath. That every breath you take is actually pleasurable for you. So invite the breath in. Invoke it. So follow the breath. Let the inhale come into you. It enters from the nostrils. It goes in. Now follow it into your body, wherever it is going, till wherever you can. And then let it out. And again, follow the path of the breath. With each breath, inhale, the breath goes in. Exhale, the breath goes out. And follow the breath very, very closely. Form a relationship with it. Wherever you can go up to for the inhale. And when it gets out of the body on the exhale also, follow the breath and see till how far you can go. It is the same breath which enters the body and exits. It is not a different breath. And with each breath, feel yourself expanding. Each breath is making you expand. It's making you lose the boundary. Each breath is filling you and every part of your body, every cell of the body with a certain element of ananda. Each breath should be fulfilling. Just focusing on your relationship with the breath, just focusing on following the inhale and the exhale, just focusing on the feeling of joy, just focusing on the feeling of expansion. Again, inhale. You can breathe any which way you like. There is no restriction. With each breath, you're also feeling lighter, calmer. Let that breath make you lighter. Let each exhale make you lighter and lighter. Let each inhale fill you up with energy. Let each exhale relax you. You are getting filled with joy with each breath, which enters every nook and corner of your body. It's filling you with joy, peace, calm. And keeping that sense of peace, calm, joy, expansiveness. Right, over to you. You can start with the.
And so, do we have pens or pencils? If we have it, then we'll after the story we'll start. So we have a baby ant who goes and one day visits very far away auntie, and she goes and she noticed that in her house she has a different looking pictures. Monica, if you have a one of your gondart, you can share it while I'm talking. So she goes and asks, aunt, your pictures are looking all very different. They look like they are sliced in there is a particular pattern in them, and she says your trees are very different, they look very mystical. And Anne goes on and explains that I belong to the Gond tribe, and therefore we have this is Gond art that we follow, and inside whenever we draw a tree or something, we keep on drawing two lines and we'll fill up with patterns. So Anne really wanted to experience that. So today we will be all following how and experience that. So she draw a tree. Anyhow, you can pick up a very simple tree without thinking much. We'll draw a tree with 2-3 branches. Anyhow, tree or bush, and couple leaves. Later on, you can add more. And then she did those 2 lines just like in that ant drawing. 2 lines. After some time again she did 2 lines, and again 2 lines, and she sort of had a separate sections of the drawing. Then she filled in with different dots. Sometimes she filled in with lines and curvy lines. all the interesting patterns that you can see. And even we can see something like feathers or anything. So whatever pattern you like, just think first after slicing, and then one area will fill with any pattern that we like. And then by filling up the pattern here, in those areas, we'll fill up the leaves also. So today our tree will not have any color, but if you later on want to color it also, you can fill up those areas also in different colors. So anyhow you just do small sections in your drawings and make it very simple without thinking much, because that's how Anne first tried, and she really enjoyed filling different patterns and little dots, little fins. Sometimes it has little fins, but once you start filling with patterns, you may notice that the tree has got now some mystical elements, become mystical. It's not the same tree anymore. It has a lot of magic about that. So we'll try to fill up. Monica, if you have yours, so you really like this art, so you can show also yours, what other elements you filling it. And Gond artists use a lot of natural colors. They use flower colors, and they also make colors from earth, all the minerals, but mostly it's very few, very simple colors: green, orange, white. So if you later on would like to fill up some of your sections in different color, you can also do that. But most important is to add that those sections to all the leaves, to all the branches, to make it look different, like a Gond art. So I'll give another 3 minutes to fill up. Yeah, this is the one. You can make it, Monica, you can maybe stop sharing and show. This is another technique very beautifully that it came out. You can share your, yeah. So the colors, and there is more patterns, but there are dots also. And what other patterns you like to, there are dots, there are strokes, any patterns that you like. Nothing very complicated. They don't do zigzags much, but if you feel like doing it, and any dots or anything that comes to you now. Yeah, very nice. Keep it a little closer. Beautiful. Can you share it a little closer, Vishwajita? Yeah, very nice. And now a little up. Beautiful. So yeah, I can't see on the leaves, maybe because of the screen. So leaves also make some sections in those leaves and fill up with some patterns. So anything that you like, any pattern that you like. And then in a minute we will do a sharing if anyone likes, and questions, I think, if we have time. Another a minute or two to finish it up. we have one more sharing. Can you make it more straighter to the camera? Very interesting pattern, but nice. Yes, if you feel like filling some of the dark colors, also fill in, because this Gond art, we usually do it on the dark paper, any kind of paper that is brown, and we do use the white pencil. Yeah, like that. Monica, you are muted, but yes, we can do it. It's
we would do something like this, slightly darkish paper.
Yeah, you can try it.
White pencils, white pencil or a white pen.
Kashmira, that is now because the paper is white, and that black that you did those, it was also looking very nice. That gives that mystical elephant, that feeling of that element that comes in, or the sections comes out. Beautiful. Beloji also very nice. Very different. Tree is very different.
I will try to color it now.
Yeah, you can. Beautiful. Anyone else is here wants to share, and then we have, I think, few minutes left for the questions, if anyone wants some questions.
So the other actually element that we are exploring now is the use of artist therapy, yoga and artist therapy, because it's extremely therapeutic also when you bring in this element of working mindfully with your hands and fingers, and even repeated patterns. Those repeated patterns actually have an effect of calming the mind for people who have absolutely no access to even a state of quiet. So
Yeah.
when you cannot access that state at all, then using certain art techniques and yogic techniques helps them to even bring in that little bit of element of peace or calm actually for them. So that's another area we are exploring now.
Yeah, in today's day and age, we have giving this me time, totally me time. It's actually a biggest gift to yourself, to your mental health, because normally we absorb, and there is a lot of absorption that happen. But this me time, you don't know where it will take you, because it's something that you just play, you just you and play, and that unexpected move, unexpected drawing that it will come, or anything that it will come, it's very therapeutic. So that is what we notice, the outcome of this. One of the major outcome is the therapy part, that those children and adults become very calm. Their decisions are more easier, and they are less confused. There is a lot of kind of self-love that suddenly comes up from those lessons and from those workshops that we attend, especially with people who don't normally draw. There is some very nice shift that happens, and very many nice discoveries.
This is so wonderful. Thank you, Raie and Monica, for not only describing what the kind of work you do and how you've brought yoga and art together, but also giving us a little taste of it. And I'm wondering if anybody has any comment or question to share at this point. We still have a few minutes, so please feel free to unmute yourself and just share what this experience was like, if you would, or any questions you may have for either of them, or general comment or observation. Yes, Raviji.
Hi, Beluji. Good evening.
Good
Evening,
evening.
everybody. I think it was really nice listening to both the presenters, Monica and Raie. It's something really good to know that yoga and art can come together in this way and can help particularly youth of our country, right? Because what I believe is that today's youth is primarily driven by media, or it's a medium-driven kind of society, where they get carried away with lot many nonsense things. So this yoga and art, if this can instill a kind of mindfulness, kind of a purpose driven life, I think it can help. And even I'm looking forward to have these two subjects as electives as part of this national education policy, because it gives us a scope to have these two subjects under this ability enhancement or skill enhancement category as such. Having said it, I think, again, as both of the presenters said, that basically their exercise is a process-driven exercise. It's not a product-driven exercise. So on that count, I was, it's kind of something new for me, that art, we look at art, something which manifests, mental creativity, and basically it is aesthetic driven kind of exercise. Whereas yoga, I understand yoga as a unified self, right? And driven by spirituality or meditation. So I look at these two words this way. And even in literature, there are records, like I think 5th century philosopher Patanjali, he wrote 3 beautiful books. And those books were, like, in fact, they were commentaries. Yoga Sutra was for purification of Chit. Chit is your consciousness. So for Chitta Suddhi, he wrote Yoga Sutra. Then he wrote Vedak. It was for your Sharir Shuddhi. That means the purification of your body. And third, he wrote Mahabhashya. That means purification of your speech or your language. Right. So I think there are beautiful records even in literature in our history which can really come and, they can be of great help as far as this combination of yoga and art is concerned. I think wonderful listening to both the presenters. I'm thankful to SailC and the Auro Center or Aurobindo Center for enabling us to enjoy this. Thank you, Biloji.
Thank you both.
In Gurukul, in the olden Gurukul system in India, even Ayurveda doctors could not become Ayurveda doctors if they did not study art, any art or any form of art. So it was that important. We have forgotten and we look at art as secondary, but it actually gives you when you allow yourself to be creative, it's just it's a technique, it's learning, you can learn, anybody can learn. It's not a talent, we all think it's a talent, but actually it's just you learn to do that. And when you allow yourself to be creative, you find the many solutions which will not be there. So it's not surprising that that even to become a doctor you were supposed to be good in one of the arts. It's either calligraphy or any kind of form of arts at that time. So why it is not now? Let's bring this up now.
Certainly.
Yes, thank you. I think that's a very interesting and relevant point. Anybody else would like to share?
Yeah, we can
share her tree. How colorful it is. So beautiful.
Oh, can I see it again? Okay. Yes. Oh, lovely. Yeah. Very nice.
So those patterns keep on coming, and now you can fill up rest of it also. And if you want to add more leaves, and if you notice in that drawing, Monica's drawing, even the background is also filled up with some sort of pattern. So you can do that if you feel like you have time. So it's something that it can be finished now, or it can even be added. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah, I added the nest now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't focus so much to make it exactly like Gond art. If somebody likes it, then we'll guide them. But we just introduce different forms of indigenous arts. We introduce so get a taste of it and revive it and take it further even.
No, I think that's what I really find very interesting in the way you do your work and what you just shared with us today. That Monica was emphasizing this element of joy and delight. And yet, in a nice way, you also bring out these sort of like benefits that can come from this. Whether it is the therapeutic aspect or the healing aspect, the me time, appreciation for indigenous arts, and also what you just described, the creativity in, I think in one of your slides also that was mentioned, and Monica kind of just rushed through it, but the creativity in problem solving. That I think is so important in today's complex life.
Yes,
So,
because memory is getting tested
yes.
up till now.
Beautiful,
Very nice,
Yes.
Kashmir. I saw the drawing. In today's day, we test the memory, but we cannot test because computers knows more than AI can do much more. So
Right.
creative problem solving is the only human feature that we have left.
And
Yes.
also, I think when you put limitations, for example, like we said, okay, you can only use one color. And I think in one of the your Kala Evam Adhyatma talks, she had talked about this artist who used only pencil.
Yes.
And when even with limitation, how you can create something beautiful and inspiring and something which talks to people, that means within limitation, also there is when you put limitations, the creativity comes out.
Much
Right.
more in our experience, Monica, much more, because those ladies, the more limitation we put on, the more beautiful work used to come.
Yes. Thank
Even
you.
with
Thank
children.
you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I'm sure once the recording goes out, a lot of people will find it very inspiring.
Thank you.
Because you really are doing such amazing work of bringing these two disciplines together. And as I think, Monica, you mentioned, you make Mother's and Sri Aurobindo's words living, what they have described, the two coming together. So at this point, I think we can just take a moment to thank you both and really wish to have an experience in person at some point in the future so that we can go a little deeper into this experience that you curate for us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining. I wish, I think the next few sessions are also something about the very practical aspects that are lining up. So we'll be hearing more about that in the days to come. So thank you so much.